Alright, I'm back for another edition of a review from Wednesday night's episodes of AEW and NXT. As you guys may already seen, or haven't seen, I don't know if you have or have not, but I just recently uploaded the AEW Dynamite review for November 6th, and now I'm providing you guys the NXT November 6th review here. This show was okay. It wasn't as good as it was last week. Last week's episode was unbelievable. Better than AEW's episode from last week. But AEW's right back on track, in my opinion, based on the work that they did here compared to what NXT did, but that's not a big deal. I'm not saying that NXT did a bad job here on this episode. It really got you intrigued, especially the ending. The ending here on NXT was just as good as AEW's ending to their show. And this wasn't even a go-home show for NXT's programming, so that's even just as good in itself. The only thing that I really had a problem with was this show is kind of dull and boring. Not all of it, just about the second hour from the 9 o'clock all the way up to almost the main event. It was kind of boring to me. I didn't really get into it very much. I didn't find it very interesting. It just didn't really catch my attention. I'm not saying that I'm right about what I'm saying. This is just my opinion. So don't take it the wrong way. If you guys did enjoy watching the entirety of this whole entire show, then that's just my opinion. You guys are right to your own opinion as well. So there's no, I'm not saying you're an asshole or an idiot if you say that, oh, the entire show is great and why are you dissing the crap out of it? So don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. I think it was a good quality show. It's definitely noteworthy for at least storyline telling. They did an outstanding job for this. And when they were on the 1 o'clock, the 1 hour style formula or format, they did sometimes have boring ass matches with really good storytelling that occurred throughout the entire show. And that's what they did here in this 2 hour format. They did a very good job in telling a story, developing and hyping up the NXT being in the Survivor Series pay-per-view. They also hyped up the NXT War Games pay-per-view at the same time in this show. So great job by them. Kudos to them for their outstanding work in their creative ideas. The problem is the in-ring work Wednesday night of November 6th just did not cut it for me. I didn't see the same kind of excitement or felt the same excitement that I did from last week's episode. But that's just my opinion, guys, so don't take it the wrong way or think I'm just being an asshole towards NXT or thinking I'm an AEW dick sucker. I'm not. I think both of these shows provide very good quality wrestling, so it's just my opinion. The first thing that we start off with is AJ Styles and the OC with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson beating the living shit out of the Undisputed Era and showing their dominance. Wow. What a fucking great job by them and kicking their asses, because it made perfect sense as well. Undisputed Era attacked OC when OC was trying to help the rest of the Raw roster, and they got their asses kicked by the Undisputed Era. So they got even here in this episode, and they did a great job in doing so. They look like fucking badasses on NXT compared to what they are on WWE Monday Night Raw. So that's just overall what they did here. They showed what they did before the show went on the air, came down to the ring, and the OC attacks the crew members on their way to the ring as well. Styles says, so this is NXT. Fans dueling chants of NXT and the OC. Styles says NXT superstars attacked Raw and SmackDown for a war, so now they're bringing the war to NXT. Styles says all the top NXT stars are out of commission, so the OC is taking NXT over. And this is that is undisputed, he says. He says it's not just phenomenal, but it is undisputed. They do the too sweet and go leave the ring, but the music hits, and out comes Tommaso Ciampa. Fans chant for Ciampa as he comes to the stage with a mic. Ciampa says for years he's been asked, when is he going to make the main roster? Well, now he wants to be the first one to welcome the OC to NXT. Ciampa says NXT has always been the show, and it's just so happened to be Daddy's home, stating that NXT is the main roster, not WWE Raw and SmackDown. Fans chant Daddy's home once again. Ciampa says the OC can come and beat up the Undisputed Era. That's fine with him. Can't fucking stomach him anyway. But he does have a problem with the OC saying they're taking over, which they kind of did in this episode. Styles asks if the three of them are supposed to be scared of Ciampa, but he does admit that Ciampa has the biggest balls to come out and say anything, since he's the only person that's come out to say something to them. Then Keith Lee and Matt Riddle suddenly appear on the stage, and of each side of Ciampa. The fans chant NXT and bro. Ciampa says it looks like they have plenty of balls, as fans do various chants again. Ciampa says they were prepared to face the Undisputed Era at War Games, but tonight the OC should go put their gear on and go to war. So as I'm reading this, I'm going to say this to you guys, and I don't know why I didn't realize this, but reading this information and talking about this promo, they were actually building a story to the Survivor Series pay-per-view and the War Games for the men. Great job by NXT tying these two stories together as one and hyping both programs at one time. Very entertaining shit. So after that, the fans chant NXT again. AJ accepts the challenge, and the main event is on as the crowd pops and the two sides stare each other down. We go to the announcers to hype up tonight's show. Morrow is joined by Nigel McGuinness and Beth Phoenix. The first match on the card was Pete Dunne and Damien Priest. This was an outstanding, entertaining matchup to kick off the show as a match. It was as good as their first match, if not better. And the ending was very ironic, especially with Pete Dunne hitting a low blow. But first, Priest tried to hit a low blow on Pete Dunne, and he blocked it and then kicked him between the legs. At that point, Dunn goes right into the armbar, and Priest taps out for the win after he kind of snaps his fingers apart. And then he goes ahead and puts in the armbar, and Priest taps out immediately. So the rivalry now is at 1-1. Killian Dane did show up after the match was over and attacked Pete Dunne in this post-match situation. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. They could do a entertaining tag team match with Killian Dane and Damian Priest tagging together against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate having a major issue with Killian Dane, attacking him and beating the living snot out of him a couple of weeks ago. And then you got Pete Dunne having an issue with Killian Dane attacking him as well. And then Damian Priest and Pete Dunne having their small rivalry going on here in the last two matches that they've had with one another. So that would be a nice little add-on to the NXT War Games pay-per-view. So I think maybe that would be a good idea to add to the card, just as a rivalry tag team matchup. I think that would be a nice touch to the card. Just my personal opinion. Tell me what you guys think about that idea. Next, the announcers talk about the Women's War Games and how new team members were announced on the bump earlier. Captain Shayna Baszler picked Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and while Rhea Ripley picked Tegan Nox and Candice LeRae. We see Dakota Kai backstage warming up, and Kathy Kelly is with her asking about tonight's main event with Shayna Baszler, but the volume seems low at first. Yeah, they had like technical issues, which I don't understand why. It seemed a little weird to me. So Kai says she's not intimidated by Baszler, and she's going to prove why she deserves to be on Rhea Ripley's War Games team. Kai goes on and says she's going to kick Baszler's face in, and Kai goes back to warming up as we go to commercial. We see Dakota Kai backstage warming up. Kathy Kelly is with her asking about tonight's main event with Shayna Baszler, but the volume... Oh, shit, what am I fucking reading that again? Oh, they have the writing twice on this Wrestling Incorporated website. I apologize about that, guys. That was a typo on their part. Apologize. So, Tamara versus Santana Garrett in a one-on-one matchup. This match I did not give a flying fuck about. Did not really watch it or pay attention to it. This is one of the matches that sucked. Tamara actually wins this match. I don't care. Don't give a flying fuck. The next match on the card, this was actually good. Shayna Baszler versus Dakota Kai. This was a very good match, especially for a women's match. Dakota Kai looked very good in this match. Compared to what they've had in the past, Dakota Kai looked very strong in this matchup and actually looked like she was a competitive and a big-time threat to Shayna Baszler in this match. Do I feel that she was going to win? No, I don't. I thought she was going to lose, but she was actually a lot better in previous matches that they've had before. So kudos to Dakota Kai. Probably the best performance she's had in a while since coming back from injury. So I really give her a lot of props. She did a very good job with Shayna Baszler in this matchup. And she ends up losing by a rear naked choke. And that was pretty much it. Shayna Baszler wins, and then after the match, Baszler stands tall as Duke and Shafir join her. We go to replays. After the replays, the horsewomen attack Kai and beat her down. Ripley comes out, Tegan Nox comes out, and Candice LeRae comes out to make the save. Bianca Belair and Io Shirai are also out. Mia Yim runs out and unloads with a bunch of kendo stick shots as fans pop and chant her name. Yim checks on Kai in the ring as Baszler and the others retreat through the crowd. Ripley, LeRae, and Nox join Yim and Kai in the ring. It looks like the Ripley might be interested in Yim for her team, which later on she announces that is the case. Now, the interesting part about all this is there seems to be some sort of jealousy by Dakota Kai, which rightfully so. I think she has a right to be pissed off about it. She had a good match with fucking Shayna Baszler. Yeah, she may have lost, but she didn't look like a weakling. She didn't look pathetic. But I guess apparently Rhea Ripley does not find her a good add-on to her team. I mean, Mia Yim did provide a nice backup assistance with kendo sticks and attacking, but she wasn't in a match with Shayna Baszler. It was Dakota Kai. So, and she was in it by herself. I didn't see anyone from Ripley's team having her back or even being there just in moral support. So, at the end of the day, you kind of have, feel sorry for Dakota Kai in this situation. That's just how I feel on that. But you guys let me know what you guys thought about my opinion on that subject. So the next match after that is Tony Nese and Angel Garza. This was an okay match. I mean, it wasn't nothing to cry home about. Wasn't one of the better NXT Cruiserweight matches I've seen before on this program. But, I mean, the right guy won. Angel Garza wins, and he's facing Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. I expect to see this match on the NXT War Games pay-per-view card. If I don't see that, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Because this matchup, Angel Garza and Lio Rush, would be a great add-on to this NXT TakeOver War Games pay-per-view card. It would really take some time towards the show. It would add on some good quality wrestling. People will be hyped and excited. This would be a great matchup to open the show with these two guys. Bottom line. So we move on to Ripley. I've already mentioned she says that Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, and herself are going to be the 4 members of her team, and that's who she's decided to pick and stick with. Ripley apologizes to Kai and says she didn't make the cut. Kai says something we can't hear and walks off. Ripley says this is her team, we go to commercial, and that was pretty much all there is to it. Back from the break, the announcers confirmed the second War Games match, the Undisputed Era versus Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, and their mystery partner to be revealed. I got a good feeling I know who the fuck that may be. If you don't think it's Johnny Gargano, you're fucking nuts. Bottom line. That's all I gotta say on that. Isiah Scott versus Dominic Kovac. This was an okay matchup. Nice little solid match. I thought it was okay. But it didn't really attract my interest that much. Djokovic did win this matchup by hitting the Feast Your Eyes and the pinfall for the 1-2-3. And then finally we get the main event with the OC and Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. This match, I'm going to say this, was a very good, entertaining, solid main event. Very similar to AEW's tag team matchup. They were very much similar in a lot of ways between these two main events. Seeing Adam Cole come out of nowhere, super kick fucking AJ Styles, and also hit the last shot on Tommaso Ciampa was a nice touch to the end of the show. The other thing that was very interesting, and there was a small distraction, was Finn Baszler. Finn Baszler walks down the ramp with his music playing, kind of does the gun point at Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa's sitting there a bit dumbfounded. AJ Styles is standing there smiling and then attacks Tommaso Ciampa. And they're kind of looking down at each other, acting as if they may form some kind of alliance. Which, bottom line, these two were in the Bullet Club in New Japan Wrestling. So for them to have the OC together, and now Finn Baszler kind of hinting he might be interested, may leave some intrigue to the Survivor Series pay-per-view matchup that they have for the main event versus with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT going at each other at one time. Now, I don't know if they're going to have Raw and SmackDown team together and have a 5-man tag team that's combined with 5 guys on Raw and SmackDown and then 5 guys from NXT, and that's how they're going to do it. Or they're going to have 3 different teams, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, for the traditional Survivor Series match. I hope it's not a 3-way Survivor Series matchup. That would be really fucked up. But with that being said, they kind of hinted that. Then Adam Cole comes out of nowhere, super kicks fucking AJ Styles and then hits the last shot on Tommaso Ciampa. The match ends up with a no contest, and Adam Cole's staring down Finn Balor as if Finn Balor is actually interested in the Undisputed Era. This leaves a lot of intrigue, especially just towards Finn Balor himself. Where is they're going to go with Finn Balor? What team is he going to join? Is he going to join any team? Is he going to be by himself? That they left a lot of questions with no answers, which leaves you hanging and gives you a reason to catch the next episode for NXT, SmackDown, or even Monday Night Raw for all fucking purposes. God help us, maybe they'll actually give us some reason to fucking be interested in Monday Night Raw, but I highly doubt it. Anyway, that's pretty much the overall presentation of the NXT show. It was a solid, entertaining show, nonetheless. I had a lot of positive things to say, mostly about creative. Wrestling-wise, not all that there, but then again, it doesn't always have to be there. There always can be just storyline telling that's being progressed throughout the show to give you a more interest in wanting to watch this. But otherwise, pretty solid, good, entertaining show. Nothing to cry, nothing to cry. This was a good show, but it wasn't one of their better shows. Let me just put it that way. Anyway, guys, I thank you very much for watching. Leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. And hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful night, guys. Bye.